Welcome back to our YouTube. I know we say this every time, but it's been a long time. We're going to get back on top of these. Danny's obviously not pregnant anymore, so we're going to fill you in with what's been happening and the plans for this year.
So we're just going to take you through the day as usual. We have just had our breakfast. I am going to jump on a call with Vicky to do my mentor course, and then we're going to have our pre-workouts, head to the gym. Dan's training legs, I'm going to try and join in, and then we'll hop back, have our meals, and run you through an update of everything that's going on. But she's due to get bloods around any time in Feb, I've kind of said.
Send me some fucking videos.
Yeah, I can't tell you, what to do without seeing it.
Exactly, and it's really frustrating. It's like you don't have to go in and with a massive tripod and a fucking video camera. You can just use your phone and just put it up against your wall.
Right, okay, so we've just walked over to the gym. We haven't hopped.
And then we'll hop back.
And we're just about to hit a lower session. So I've actually got a little bit of arms before starting on legs, just because we're trying to bring up the arms still. They're still lagging behind a little bit. And then main compound movements today are going to be the Cybex squat press and the hat. Danny is going to jump in as well.
I'm going to try
and hit a session, but not taking it to 100%. So follow us through the session.
Anyway, I am going to run through a little bit of pre-warm-up activation for my legs. Obviously, working through my C-section recovery, I have to be very, very conscious of my core, trying to get that kind of TVA working and core bracing before I go into any movements, more so than usual, to obviously protect it. And obviously, you'll see through the session, most things I've trialed through the last weeks have felt okay. Still can't necessarily do, I'm going to try today the hamstring curl, laying hamstring curl, and the hyperextension, just because of where the scar is and any hip thrust. But I'm just trying things every single week, so I don't know, they might feel okay today, but I have to be very conscious of the pressure. And I touched on earlier, the strength in my body hasn't necessarily disappeared, which is quite a scary thing, because although I've got the strength in like my legs, I have to think about the pressure and strength going through my core. So some things are feeling quite easy, but I have to think about this. So Dan's gonna go in and hit some arms upstairs. I'm gonna do some kind of activations and mobility and breathing techniques just before the session so that I am safe and secure. Like, I haven't hip thrust I obviously hip thrust up till like 9 months, but now I feel like I'm ready to push and I can't push. It's a little bit frustrating, but although the pumps I've got lately have been ridiculous, because obviously although I only really had 3 or 4 weeks off, 3 weeks off training, that I trained a bit of shoulders the other day, and by golly, they were sore. They were like, I did 4 kilo dumbbell raises and I was like, whew. Whereas then when you're a seasoned athlete and you do like 200 kilo hip thrusts, it doesn't feel like you've done anything. Crazy. But even just trying to learn to activate everything again, although it's like, again, been 3 weeks, I feel like it's harder to switch on. But that's because I'm conscious of this. So it's hard because naturally, even through pregnancy, obviously, usually you would brace your core and everything, and then through pregnancy obviously I couldn't because baby was in the way, and now because obviously there's a massive hole, like there's basically a dinner plate size hole where obviously all my organs have moved for baby, and there's still that gap, like it feels like there's nothing there, which is a really weird feeling, so I can't even brace properly. So although you think, oh, she's out, back to normal, it's massively not. Someone asked me the other day and I was like, it just feels like I haven't really got any control there yet, but it's learning to build that control.
Okay, so first movement today is single arm preacher machine. Like I said, we're trying to bring my arms up throughout this next push up. Probably one of the weakest areas I've got at the moment. So as I say, starting off with a single arm machine preacher. I'll just do a couple of warm up sets, getting into it, and then I'll go straight into the top sets. I've already hit abs before. I just like doing abs at the beginning, helps me engage my core through the session. And to be honest, I'd be a little bit slack at the end of the session, especially with it being leg. I'll probably slack off on abs at the end, so I just like to get them boxed off out of the way at the start as well. Right, so we're just going to go into the first working set now. do go from one arm to the other on like my isolation movements I do, but if I was doing like a single leg press, I'd have a little bit of a rest between legs, yeah. Obviously a single leg press is a lot more fatiguing than this, so yeah. Okay, so with my arms being a lagging body part, we've just basically increased the volume on them. So I'm pretty much doing an element of arms every single day. So at the end of my push sessions, obviously I've got a bit of tricep work, pull session, bicep work. On my lower sessions, again, I'll have either a bicep or a tricep movement to finish. And then I've also got a full arm day every Saturday as well. So yeah, volumes increase massively. But a good thing about obviously arms, they're a smaller muscle group, so they do recover quicker and they can handle that amount of volume. So hopefully we'll see the arm growth start to take off a little bit more now. Thing with arms as well, it's about pushing through that pain, isn't it? Like the pumping of biceps, I don't think there's any other muscle group, maybe calves as well. You can keep going, but it's just switching off to that pain to a certain degree. You've got more reps in the tank. It's just obviously getting past that psychological pain point and just pushing through. So that's it on arm work for today. As I say, I've got a full arm session tomorrow as well. So just that little bit of extra volume before we actually kick on with legs now.
So exercise 1 in Dan's leg session is the lane hamstring curl. Now I haven't actually done this since surgery, so I'm gonna see how it feels. I did try it a couple of weeks ago and it just felt a little bit there. So if my belly falls out, someone catch it.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
Belly's intact. Not falling out yet. That's the thing, the weight's not even that bad. It's that I'm pushing through here. And then it might feel all right now, because it did the other day, and then the next day I was like, my belly's fell out. Go on, easy.
Right, so what I'm thinking about on here is dragging up through the hamstrings. I'm not just throwing it up. And then what I'm doing with my upper body, I'm actually pulling down onto my lats and bracing my stomach so that then my hips aren't shooting up, which then you're going to be involving the lower back and the glutes. So really lock in on your upper body and you'll get a lot more through your hamstrings that way.
A little coaching cue I use with my ladies is a lot of people go on the leg extension and they just think about getting the weight up or thinking about lifting their legs. If you think about actually contracting your quads and squeezing them as fully as you can, then you're going to get more out of it, because that is obviously the aim of this. So don't think about the legs just moving, think about the quads contracting.
tip on here that was taught to me by Jimmy Tonk. If you haven't seen his legs, he's got the fucking wildest legs ever. Could definitely go on to any open bodybuilder. He's in classic, so go check him out if you don't know who he is. So I still have my hips back, but as I come down into the stretch, I actually allow them to come forward a little bit, which allows a real stretch on the rec fem there. And then obviously come back nice and controlled into the contraction. But that stretch at the bottom, if you do that, you'll really feel it at the top of the rec fem. So as I come down into here, I'm allowing my hips to come forward a little bit. You can see it gets that extra stretch through there. It's hard work sometimes training with Danny.
I've got pregnancy brain still. It is gonna make you thicker.
I don't know if you can say that. I don't know if that's politically correct anymore.
What? Making you thicker?
Yeah.
Here he is.
Oh, look who it is.
Star of the show.
What happened to leg day?
He's had to deal with me.
Been taking leg day tips from Deontay Wilder.
I don't like to brag, that's all hard work. I'm taking foundations.
We're trying to get Sean back on track because he's been on holiday and put on an 18-pound baby.
I'm with child.
Oh my God. What? It's all right, you had fruit.
Come on, are you warming up?
Mac and cheese, ham cheese sandwich, and a top out zero.
Oh, balances out, it's fine.
I'll train around a massage. You gotta look after.
Are you having a massage?
I look after your body. Don't end up like you. This is dedication.
So, just an update on the bets with Sean. He lost another one. So,
This is the vacancy rule though. And that's because I want to crush on Dan. All of me bets. Dedication.
on his wanking hand.
It's not thinking of every time I'm pulling it.
Come on.
Yeah. So I'm just going to run through the Gym Leco belt squat that we've got in Viking. This applies obviously to any belt squat that you've got. I'm actually not going to use it with the belt purely because obviously I've just had surgery, so I'm not going to do that on my scar. But I am going to use a V handle just to show you the movements that you can do. My preference for RDL is obviously a V handle as well, but you can use a bar. You can use a single handle as well, like a D handle to do single RDL as well. So I'm going to start with a squat and then I'm going to go into an RDL. So what I'm going to do is lift up, Dan's going to release the handle, and then obviously I can go, but if I'm doing an RDL, I'm actually going to start from the bottom, which I'll explain in a sec. So keeping the chest up, obviously we want to keep a neutral spine and brace the core. Then all we want to do is come down, pushing the knees out, pushing the hips back, come down to your range, and then squeeze the glutes while pushing the feet into the floor to get a nice contraction. Right, the RDL, Dan's just going to release it, but I'm going to start from the bottom. So the reason I'm doing that is because if I've got heavy weight, I can't actually release the handle myself. So from here, we're going to take a slightly narrower stance than the squat, keeping the chest up again, keeping the core nice and tight. All we're going to do is push the hips back like a normal RDL, and again, you can use a bar for this. So all we're going to do is shift the hips back, 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 until they don't move anymore. If they move anymore, it's going to be back extension. So we're going to come to there, and then push the feet into the floor and squeeze the glutes. Again, you want to keep a neutral back, neutral spine, core nice and tight. Nice controlled movement, getting a stretch, and then squeeze up. So this is great for obviously working your glutes and hams.
Just wait for a spot.
Right, all the way. Take a breath. Got another one. Yeah. Yeah, it's just hard because obviously I've still got the strength in my legs, but here is not. So it's just learning to be sensible. Like that feels easy, but then I did this last week on that one, and the next day I felt it in my core. So I'm going to be sensible, run it for a couple of weeks, and then move up. We'll see.
Come on. Come on, push, drive. Got one more in there. Yep, more there, how is
Not easy.
Yes, come on.
Yeah, and again. Only 3 can get that.
Yes.
Right.
Good to see you again now. Come on. How's that feel?
So listening to my body, obviously we're trying different exercises and seeing how they feel through this session. Obviously I'm running Dan's session. We've just tried the hack squat, and although it feels okay, the pressure through the core probably doesn't feel the best. And rather than push it and regret it, I'm just going to hold back on this set. So yeah, we'll just let Dan run this and I'll jump back in. Very nice. Very good. Go on, easy. 5, breathe. And again. One. Yeah. One easy. One easy. 3 left. Yeah. And again. One last 3. Let's go. Yeah. Go. Come on, take a breath. Ready? Brace hard. Get it up. Help.
Thank you.
God, my core did not like that.
Oh, fuck.
That last
Thank
one.
you.
I don't know if you're just going to sit at the bottom or whether you
I
could.
couldn't get to the bottom.
I know that's. So a coaching cue for the seated hamstring curl, lock yourself in. A lot of people don't kind of like lock themselves in and they'll kind of get a little bit of back extension, especially if it's towards the end of the set and they get back pump, which obviously isn't great. So the coaching cue is lock yourself in and almost like crunch your upper body round so that your back stays on the pad the whole time. Obviously brace your core and then drag through the hamstrings.
Yeah.
So that is our leg session done. Obviously Dan's full throttle. Obviously I'm still in recovery mode, so just taking it quite easy. But he's just finishing calves. I don't need to do them. So we're just going to go home, have our post-workout meal, and thanks for watching. So typically we've got to film the rest of the day's food. We had chicken and rice post-workout. Dan then had steak and potatoes with some pineapple and some dates after that. And then we are just having our last meals. So he has 100 grams of rice pudding, 20 grams of almond butter, 100 grams of berries, and 50 grams of whey. And then I'm having 60 grams of oats, 20 grams dark chocolate, 40 grams of isolate, and my fruit. But I'm actually starting my new plan tomorrow. So very exciting, just to get me back into routine. But Mrs. is asleep, we're off to bed, and we'll catch you at the next one.